Hey girl, hey. When I tell you that God will elevate your life if you let him, I am living proof. I literally went from making $10 an hour to now making over 6 figures in my salary. You can't tell me that is not God. Some of you may be praying for the right connections, and I totally understand because I was there too. It wasn't until the Lord gave me this revelation. He was like, Thalia, you're already connected to me. You already connected to the Almighty God. What higher connection do you need? Yes, it's true. That employer may not know your name. Those interviewing you may not even know who you are. Those who you think that have the connection to the job that you want may not even know who you are, but the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Alpha, the Omega, the one that wrote the end from the beginning knows your name, and you are dear to him, and he will not fail you because he's your promoter, he's your provider, he's your source, and he can do it.
My life is for your glory, your glory.
Okay, y'all, let me be real. I did not go to college straight after high school. Matter of fact, my high school grades were so terrible, I could not get into college. I was barely passing. And it wasn't so much, actually, like now that I think about it, it wasn't so much that school was that big of a struggle. It was just that my family did not prioritize education. Like they were surviving. They were trying to make ends meet. And as long as I passed, that was good enough. That was the bar that was set for me. As long as you pass, we are good. And because they didn't prioritize education, I didn't either. Listen, the only reason why I am successful today is because of God. It was nothing natural. I am telling you, it is nothing natural in my life. Everything natural in my life said that I should have been a statistic. Everything natural in my life said that I should be poor. I should not have made it. I should not be successful. I should not be educated. It is all God. It had nothing to do with how hard I studied. It had nothing to do with, now, you got to put in some work. I'm not saying you just, I ate pizza and like slept all day. I'm just saying that it wasn't based on natural circumstances, because if it was based on natural circumstances, I wouldn't be here today. So let me not hold you. Let me tell you how this all came about, okay? So when I was in high school, I actually did an early childhood education co-op, and I worked at a preschool during that time. It was just for a few hours, I think twice a week or so, and that was my first career path. I was just gonna be a preschool teacher. I did that for about 5 years because they hired me straight out of high school. They loved me so much. And it was so easy for me. I had already taken care of my sisters. I already taken care of some of my cousins. I already taken care of some of my family friends. So nurturing children, helping them learn, teaching them was just very innate for me, very natural for me. It wasn't until around the 5-year mark of working as a preschool teacher that I thought, what else could I do? And it's so interesting because the Lord is bringing this back to my memory now. He's reminding me how I actually try to go into finance from there, because I would see these parents that would come into this childhood development center, right? And they would be dressed to the nines. I even babysat some of these children, and their homes were palatial. I was just like, oh my gosh, I think I'm in the wrong career. However, it created a vision on the inside of me that wanted more. This time I was making $10 an hour, and I was like, there ain't no way I can live in a home like this making $10 an hour. And I started praying. I was like, Lord, what else could I do? I tried to get into finance during that time, and the doors were closed because I wasn't ready yet. I'm thinking of some of like the interviews that I had, and they would ask me questions, and I know they probably were like, what in the world is this girl talking about? I was not ready to be in finance yet. I wasn't even ready to be in corporate yet at all. I had a lot of growing to do, but I knew I wanted something greater. So I decided, okay, you know what? I need to go to school. That is what started me going to school. I quit that job, which I don't recommend, because I quit that job and then I had to ask my friends to cover me for meals. So don't do that, okay? Don't do that. But I quit my job, and then I started going to school full time. And in that's when I had that little rinky-dink job. I don't know if you guys watched that How God Blessed Me with a Car testimony, but this is during the time that God blessed me with a car. I had a little rinky-dink job just to pay for gas, pay for food, things like that. But my focus was on school. While in school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was like, I need to do something. So I'm just going to get in here and just do all of my general courses. So I did that, but I never picked a major. However, I started really liking makeup, which is so funny because I hardly wear any of it today. But I really loved like the artistry of makeup, and not to the point of creating a whole new face, but just naturally enhancing. But I really, really loved it. And in school, I would go to Nordstrom. Listen! Oh, this is bringing back so many memories because I'm like, Lord, I mean, I could cry because I'm like, you are so strategic. He is literally bringing this back to me as I'm like relaying this to you all. I used to go to Nordstrom after school because I was so intrigued with makeup and just look at some of their selections. And why would I pick such a highfalutin store? There was one time where I was actually afraid to go into Nordstrom because I had such an inferiority complex that I was afraid to even go in because it was like, oh, they will know I can't afford this right now. Like they will know. But the Lord broke that off of me. And if you guys are interested, maybe I'll do a video later. He broke that off of me. So anyways, I would go into Nordstrom after school and just look at the eyeshadows. And what was so interesting is I knew somebody who worked at a makeup counter, and she worked for Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, but not at that store, at another store. So I was intrigued in Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, and I would just look and see what they had. And one day the manager of that counter was like, girl, you're here all the time. Maybe you should work here. Sorry for clapping, y'all, because I got this mic. But I'm just literally thinking about this in real time. And she was just like, maybe you should work here. And I thought, oh, I never even thought about it. Seed planted. After she planted that seed in my mind, I really started thinking, maybe I could work here. I never thought about it before, but I didn't know how to do makeup. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I mean, I tried to do my own makeup. I can't say I was really good at it, but I definitely attempted to do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for this, but no one would hire me. I'm telling you, God will open doors that no man can open, okay? But no one would hire me. I found favor with a lady. She was the manager at another store for Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, so the same cosmetic line at another retailer, but in the same mall, because that's what I worked in the same mall. And I found favor with her. I was connected to her through that girl that I told you that worked there. But I had so much favor with her. She started letting me practice doing makeup on her face. Now think about this. This is the manager. I didn't even work at the store. I would come in, I think it was once a week or like twice a week, and just and she would coach me. I wasn't making no money, y'all. She wasn't paying me. I wasn't her staff. Honestly, now that I think about it, was that even legal? I don't even know if it was legal. But she would coach me on how to do her makeup. Oh my gosh. I'm just like, God, you're so good. It was through that I got the opportunity to become a cosmetic sales rep, a makeup artist, because after she started coaching me, I became more confident. And I remember it got to the point where I got really good. And this was over the course of, this wasn't long. I mean, I don't think it was 2 months. I got really good. And I believe that was God's grace upon my life too, to help me develop that skill in record time. But I got so good that now I became a freelance artist, and I did, I think, one event. God is so good. Okay, I'm gonna get this out, y'all. I did one event at Nordstrom, and this is the same store, right, that I wasn't qualified to work at. And I sold the most as a freelancer. That the girl that I was working with, she was the only one that day, and they needed somebody to come in. So it's between me and her. I sold more than her, that she said, you guys have to hire her. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking about this right now. I'm like, God, you're so good. I hope this video is not scattered, but it's coming back to me in real time, just how strategic God is. Because if I didn't go there after school, I wouldn't have met that opportunity. God is leading you to some places you may be like, I don't even know why I want to come into this department store every other day after school just to look at makeup, because you've been praying for elevation. You've been praying for a greater job, and he is endeavoring to get it to you. Just be led. Don't think about it. Just do what it is that you have in your heart to do. Long story short, I started working there, and I worked there for a total of 5 years. I went to another store for a couple of years, but came back to Nordstrom but for a total of 5 years. I worked for Nordstrom, and for a total of 7 years, I worked for Bobbi Brown Cosmetics. However, it was while I was at Nordstrom, the vision that God placed in me started to grow even more, because I saw so many women, and men too, but women would come to my counter, right? So I saw so many women that would drop thousands of dollars. And this was like 8 years ago, right? And more, but thousands of dollars on makeup and not even blink an eye, not even try to have to check their account. I mean, it'd be like, yeah, sure, we'll grab all of that too. And that. I saw them grab handbags, $10,000, not even think about it. And I'm like, hold up. There is some money out here to be made. And I started praying. I was like, Lord, like, I want to be able to shop here one day too. I want to be able to pick up makeup or pick up a handbag or pick something up and not even have to count the cost. And we're still on this journey, right? However, I'm there. I'm at that place to where I can pick up makeup if I want it. I can go to the grocery store. I don't have to look at prices. I can just pick up what I want. And it is a blessed place to be in. But I'm saying all that to say is I've never seen so many black card holders. But what that told me was if there are so many, you can be one too. God is so good. If there's so many, you can be one too. He started stretching the vision that I had because for me, working at Nordstrom, I thought that was a come up. I was just like, ooh. And I know the demographic has changed a little bit now, but it was really one of the most prestigious like stores. It was that and Neiman Marcus in that mall. And it was just kind of like, you know, you made it. You work at Nordstrom, you made it. And I was like, you know what, Lord? I see this right now presently, but this is not what I see in my future. In my future, I see myself shopping here. And I started to visualize that. The college that I was going to, and I told you guys I was coming to this makeup counter after school, was a community college. So you can only get a 2-year degree. So I had my 2-year degree, but I never got my 4-year degree because I didn't know what, at this time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was just like, well, I got my general education, whatever I want to do, at least I can apply these credits to that before I pick a major. I'm so glad I did that. Because while I was at Nordstrom, and I was doing the faces of CEOs, I was doing the faces of CFOs, and I would have conversations with them. And they would start to talk to me about their profession. I'm like, God, you were really setting me up this whole time. You're so good. Okay, now we're moving into career number 3. After about the 5-year mark of working at Nordstrom and just seeing all of the wealth around me, I was just like, there's other things that I could do. What else could I do, Lord? I know the lifestyle that I want to live, but this will not afford me that lifestyle. It'll afford me a part of it, right? Because I had discounts at Nordstrom. So you kind of feel like you kind of, you know, you can buy stuff, but really you couldn't afford it without the discount based on what they're paying you. They paid you well enough if you didn't have a degree, but not well enough to be an avid shopper there. And I wanted to be an avid shopper. I was like, Lord, let this be a testimony. I remember working there and just be like, let this be a testimony that I will come back here one day and I will shop here. I will be like one of these ladies that were coming to me, buying makeup, buying things, and I will shop here because of you, because of your glory, because of what you have done in my life. And I am here to tell you all that I am in that place today. So back to the 5-year mark, when I hit the 5-year mark and I realized, okay, what else could I do? That's when it dropped in my heart to go back to school. And I was like, what would I do in school? I actually was majoring in marketing in school. Because I was thought about psychology, but then I was like, there's a lot of people I know that have a psychology degree and they're unemployed. So I was like, I don't think that's, even though I'm interested in it, I don't think that is a degree for me. So I was like, well, I'm also interested in marketing, fashion. So let me do that. And I'm remembering this too, because I'm like, God, this is so good. Because I never saw this friend again in person that I could recall. Yeah, I don't think I saw this friend again in person. But I remember I was meeting with a friend that I hadn't seen in a while. He didn't live in state or whatever. We were talking and he was going to be in state. And I was like, oh, well, if you're going to be here, let's get together. Now that I think about it, it was a divine appointment. It really was. I thought we were just going to dinner, just to like chop it up and see what life has brought, you know, so far. But as we were talking and I told him, I was like, hey, I went back to school. He was an accountant. And I was like, I went back to school. He's like, oh, good. Okay. What you majoring in? And I was like, oh, I'm majoring in marketing. He's like, that's dumb. I was like, what? He's a very straightforward friend. Okay. Very straightforward. Okay. But it was just like, that's dumb. Why would you do that? And I was like, what do you mean, why would I do that? I'm already in fashion. Like, I love it. He was like, that's stupid. I was like, what? How is it stupid? Listen, we are going back and forth. And I'm like, how is that stupid? And he's just like, I am a firm believer that you need to pick the degree that pays you back. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, do you know I'm an accountant? And I was like, no. Enlighten me. Why are you an accountant? And he was like, because I didn't like economics. And I'm like, what? Okay. And he's just like, I was going to school and I was either going to pick economics or accounting because of what it pays. So after he said that, it really started my brain churning. And he was just like, you should not you should not major in marketing. He's like, do you know people that major in marketing that are fighting for jobs right now? And it's super competitive. And I thought, what? So I really started thinking, I was like, Lord, well, what else should I do? Because I was just like, I thought you were supposed to pick a job based on what you loved. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I loved makeup and I don't love it anymore because it was a hobby and it was fun until it became my work. And when it became my work and I was under another establishment and it was according to their vision, it wasn't fun anymore. Not at all. So I thought, what if I picked the job that I liked or that I liked more than just tolerating, that would put me in a bracket to make enough to do what I love? Because I don't have to find fulfillment from work. I have fulfillment in God. I have fulfillment outside of work. So I really thought about that and I said, So I left that meal just thinking, well, dang. All right, y'all, there's so many details to the story. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to brush over some of them and we'll move on. So I enrolled in a prestigious private college, and that was an act of faith because I knew I needed to get a 4-year degree. And I was like, well, the community college only goes up to 2 years. So where am I going to go? Initially, I was going to go to a state school because it was so much cheaper and it just made sense. A lot of the students went there, especially for cost. But the Lord dropped another college in my heart. And I was like, what? It's like $40,000 a year back then. I don't know what it is now, but back then to go to that school. And like I already told you guys, I have no money. How am I going to a $40,000 a year college? But I see why the Lord put me there because I needed to be there. And I remember saying like, God, how can I afford this? Like, it's $40,000 a year. Like, what? So even with student loans, like it's a lot of money, right? And I remember him just saying like, I'll provide. And I said, okay. I applied for the school and they approved me. They approved my application. I think it was in one day. And there was another girl that was in my school too. And it had been 3 weeks that she's been waiting to hear back from that school. And she was actually smarter than me. So I knew this was a God thing. Okay. And I thought, all right, well, the money will come. Like, I got in, the money will come. So I started going to that school, but this is where, if you guys watch that testimony where I got my internship, this is from that school. That school had a connection with that company. God doesn't miss it. Had a connection with that company and had fostered that relationship with that specific company, which is the company I still work for. It's a global company, right? But I'm like, God, I needed to be there in order to make the connection to this company, in order to get to this part of the company that I now work with, in order to become a finance manager. And who knows what else he'll have me do. I may be CFO by the next video. We never know. But I'm just saying, like, God has the plan for your life. Trust him with your career. So you know how I was saying, pick a career that you can tolerate or something that you like, okay? And I was like, oh, I can do accounting. I can tolerate. Listen, my tolerance level was here and accounting was like right here. It was literally like on this. I was like, Lord, I can't do this. I was like, this is so boring to me. Like, I just wanted to pull my hair out. Not that I didn't understand it. I excelled at all of my courses, but it was just, and that was the grace of God too, because I told y'all I wasn't a great student, right? I actually graduated with honors from that college. God is so good, y'all. I got so many details, but I'm gonna leave them out, okay? But I wanted to pull my hair out. I was like, this is so boring. Like, there was nothing intriguing to me about accounting. Like, I could do it, but it's like, oh, hate your life now or hate your life later. That's how I felt. I was like, Lord, what else could I do? Now, the Lord will use specific things to draw you to where he wants you to be. So in my case, and I'm going to set it up this way before I tell you this, because in my case, I love different cultures. Like, I could be the only one. Matter of fact, I took a solo trip to Seoul, South Korea, and I remember my family and my friends thought I was crazy. And they're like, what? Do you even speak the language? But I just felt so comfortable going. That's just me though. Like, I was part of a Bollywood dance group, the only non-Indian there. Like, I'm just very intrigued by different cultures, and I could be the only one or the only other and totally fine with it. So when I looked at the finance side in my business school, I was like, there's like one black guy and one black girl. Yeah, that was about it. On the accounting side, there were tons of black people on the accounting side. And I just found it very odd. And I think that's why the Lord used that to draw me there, because I was just like, well, what's going on over there? Why white people over there. Now I want to know what's over there. Like, what's going on? So I started digging into finance. And once I started digging into finance, I started digging into the salaries. And I was like, whoa, you can actually make way more in finance, especially as an early career professional, than accounting. Accounting, you have to get to a certain level before you like really start, the floodgates really open. But in finance, that was not the case. And I was just like, well, let me look over here. And let me tell you, it stretched my mind even more. Like, I didn't know anything about investments prior. It was just a different experience, but the Lord helped me the entire way. But it was intriguing. And it was intriguing because I didn't know about it. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a pathway to wealth that I had never even considered before. And let me tell you, the timing of it all matters too, because right when I decided I can't do accounting anymore, I had one more accounting class before I could not switch my major. Like I could, but I would end up paying so much more money. And it's already $40,000 a year. I already told y'all. Which I did save some money staying at home, but still, it was a lot of money to go to that school, right? So I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to switch my major to finance. Now, this was it, y'all. Like, I couldn't switch my major anymore. I already switched it from, a marketing, switched it to accounting, and now finance. So we're either all in or we're not. And I was like, I had a piece about it. So I did it. And I'm so glad I did, because if you watch that testimony that I was talking about 8 years ago, the internship, how God gave me an internship at a, global company, they only hired finance majors. Y'all, God is bringing this back to my remembrance, and just how strategic he is. If you let him write your career story, like, you'll be blown away of where you are, because I can't even say end up, because we still going up, girl. We still going up. Okay. But I'm just like, what? Not in my wildest dreams did I ever think as a child that I would be a finance manager today. Like, I didn't even like math. What? Oh, God is so good. Anyways, so they only picked finance majors at that time. And even the timing of me switching my major, the timing of me learning and having relevant courses, and the timing of them coming, it was aligned. Like, I'm just like, God, you wanted me to be there at that place. Because if I didn't pick that school, that's the other thing. Oh, okay. Thank you, Lord, for he's literally bringing this back to my remembrance in real time. Okay. Hopefully this video is not scattered. But that's the other thing. So this school had a particular relationship with this global company, this facet of the global company, because there were other schools that applied for this internship as well. However, they never got hired. Maybe one or two, but they would hire most of their people from this school because of the strategic partnership. And I'm like, God, you are so good. So long story short, I did that. I did a couple of roles, and now I'm a finance manager. And this is only by the grace of God too, because I became a finance manager, and I was the only one in my section of my company who was promoted to manager and did not have the certifications. Everyone else had to have certain certifications before they could become a manager. And I'm the only one who did not have those certifications. Only God. I give him all the glory. I give him all the honor, because it is his grace upon my life. It is his favor upon my life. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you are naturally. It doesn't matter what degree you've already chosen. It doesn't even matter what major you're in. It doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you're doing now for work. It doesn't even matter. If you let God write your career story, you will not regret it. You will end up in places before great men, and you will be that great man that people will hope to end up in places before you. I'm telling you, he can do it. He has done it for me, and he will do it for you too. I'm just so excited, because I know somebody needs to hear this. And I'm like, God, you're awesome. Because it's even bringing back everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this, like, it just shows me how strategic God really is. And sometimes you think of strategy and you think about it in just other areas of life. And I know for me, it's making me realize too, even with my love life. I told y'all, I'm gonna get a little personal here, just how strategic God is. He hasn't forgotten me. He hasn't forgotten me, but he has somebody in mind for me. And it's not who I thought it was. God is so strategic and he wants to bless you beyond your wildest dreams. And this is how you actually find your dream job. I think I read a comment. Somebody was just like, how do you find your, I don't even know like what job I would want to even know my dream job, but it's as you are along this journey, because a career is not a destination. It is a journey. And as you're along it, you find out things that you like or that you don't like, or this would be an even better job if this was added, then you get that job. And you're like, oh, but if this was added, and then you create that dream job because you know what you've experienced and what you like and what you don't like. And you're just like, this would be awesome if I had this, this, and this, and this. And God will provide. He provided for me. He'll provide for you too. And what's so interesting is that dream job testimony, I am the manager of those that are doing my dream job. Y'all, well, I need to say this again, okay? I need to say this again. I am the manager of those that are doing my dream job. And I actually like this job even more. So I thought that was my dream job. And it was at the time in that season. But this job is even better than that. And I didn't even know I would want this job. Let me not even lead into that. Maybe there's a whole nother testimony coming on how this came about. Because I'm telling you, God, he will do it. He will do it for you, sis. But I'm super excited because I know this is going to help some of you, even just to take the step. You can't guide a parked car, right? A parked car can't go anywhere. So you got to take the step, and God will lead you just like he led me. I hope this encourages you. I hope this blesses you. I'm super excited to be able to share my life with you all. It was scary at first, I'm not going to lie, but the Lord is helping me, okay? And I'm excited, and I see why. I just reading some of your comments, and I'm like, Lord, I think you're doing something here. So I'm going to let you do it. And I'm going to be obedient, and I'm going to flow, and I'm going to, take the reservations off and give me grace. But I'm like, okay, all right, I got you. You're doing something. Anyways, I'll talk to you, lovely ladies, later. Bye.
My life is for your glory, your glory.